What's going on, everyone? So, we're getting a new Resident Evil reboot movie in the works. Zach Krager is writing and directing. We'll take the franchise to its horror roots and be more faithful to the initial games. Well, the original Resident Evil, the first like 2, 3 were actually really good. Kind of got a little carried away as it progressed, but come on, they're a guilty pleasure, right? We all love the original Resident Evil films. Like, every time that they're on, yeah, you're watching it, right? Like, it's just, they're great. Mila Jovovich is fantastic in it. And, it's just, obviously, people that are truists to the game and stuff like that, obviously, there's, this kind of went in a left field at times, and you're just like, whoa. But overall, I do think that there is potential there for a really creative, just better version of the franchise. Right? It started, like I said, it started out really good. It started out what you kind of was hoping for, and added some real excitement. And then I thought Apocalypse really kind of continued to progress in the right direction. And yeah, well, there's some things that were different, sure, but overall, I thought it was one of the better game to film adaptations, right? Especially at the time, there weren't very many like great film to or game to film adaptations. Now you've had several. Like even like The Last of Us is probably one of, if not the best game to film adaptations. But the Resident Evil franchise, I think that they need to, if they're gonna do this and they're gonna do this right, they need to again do this right. Right? They need, like, you have the source material, kind of stick to the source material, right? I'm sure that there will be some little nuances change, some little variants change, which is understandable. Again, there's some things that just, translate better to film, or, like things that kind of make the story fit better, or they have an idea that they want to accomplish, but if they do this, then they won't be able to do that, right? Like, so there's obviously going to be things that are different. So, but as long as you're trying to stay as true and as close as possible, then good. I think you're in good shape, right? I think you're in the right direction. Keeping it horror, right? Where it kind of became more action, more, like secret ops type thing in a lot of ways, right? Where I think that if you could kind of keep it more just like terrifying with the various monsters and and then just like the various characters, and use modern technology and CGI and effects, I do think that there is a path to a really good quality kind of Resident Evil film here. Is it going to be one of those things where a new one comes out every year? That I don't know, but I do think there is a path to where you might be able to make a couple more of these films. Now, they tried with, what was it, Welcome to Raccoon City? They tried to kind of do this like Brad, and the film itself just wasn't very good, right? And they tried to like have that be more true to the game. It just, again, didn't really hit, right? It wasn't. I mean, I've seen some people that liked it and stuff, but from what I saw, the general consensus was like, hey, this wasn't great. Hey, this wasn't kind of what we were looking for, right? Where I think, if you could find something kind of in the middle of like, Raccoon City versus the original Resident Evil franchise, stick to the source material, have the various characters and different creatures and stuff like that. And, you can add your little flair, you can add your little twist, right? Even like you sticking with The Last of Us as an example, right? There were things that they changed. There were things that they wasn't a carbon copy to the game, but the things that they changed actually made sense. It fit the story. In some ways, even fit the story better, right? Like it if you do it correctly and you're thoughtful in how you approach it, then I do think that there, again, is a path to some success, right? I do think that there is a path to, I think there's a path to having this film or this new adaptation being what you want it to be, that could spawn and lead into maybe 2, 3 sequels. Will we get another, 7 sequels or whatever, right? Probably not. I mean, granted, it depends on how good they are, right? Look, they're going to try to draw out as much as possible out of these things. But you look at things like, even like, was it Silent Hill? Was it the second one, I think, was the one that was better than the first? Like, don't get me wrong, you've had some very, like, terrible adaptation. Like, what was it? Land of the Dead? No, it was Island of the Dead, right? That atrocious film. That was a video game adaptation. They actually had, like, game footage in it, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was Island of the Dead, right? Wasn't that the game? But regardless, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But there was yeah, it was Island of the Dead. Sorry, I was looking it up in real time. Is it Island of the Dead? I don't know. It was one of those. Maybe I'm wrong. But we all know, people that know, they know. They know what movie I'm talking about, where it actually had video game footage and stuff like that. And, and like characters would stop and like, don't do anything crazy. My point is, don't get carried away. You don't need to try to reinvent the wheel here a little bit. Again, you have the source material that there's a huge audience and fan base and following for, right? Most people have played the Resident Evil games. I'm not even a big gamer, and I've played most, if not all, the Resident Evil games. Right? Like, it's just, it's iconic. It's an iconic franchise that has tons of different directions and angles that you could take and characters that you want to tell and all that, right? Like, there's a lot you can do. You could make 20 movies if you really wanted to, just by sticking to the source material, right? But also, that's how, it kind of starts more often than not. It'll start with that direction, and then all of a sudden that leads into just, now let's go over here a little bit, right? And the next thing you know, you're so far from the original path. It's just, like, how do you even get back, right? Is kind of one of those things. But, overall, again, if we can get a good Resident Evil movie, I'm all for it. You can sign me up for that. I'm just curious to see how they're going to approach this, and are they going to do right by this? Are they actually going to stick to the source material, or is it going to be kind of loosely on the source material, where, like, the characters are the same name, but it's not? They're like completely different. Do they go a different direction? Are they gonna? Is this just going to be like a remake to the original, Mila films? There's a lot that this can go down. But like I said, I mean, the original ones are classics. The original ones are, the guilty pleasure. Even the ones that are a little crazy, still just a guilty pleasure. They're just those movies that they're a fun watch, right? It's on. It's like, yeah, sure, why not, right? Like, it's kind of how it feels. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? How do you agree? Do you disagree? How do you feel? I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.